everybody, welcome back to Midwest Doll Collector. I'm Victor. Today we're talking about kind of a serious subject, something that is a topic that I know a lot of people with uteruses, let's say, have issues with, that also collect reborns or have a reborn, um, might have issues with, and I wanted to discuss it with you guys and talk about more about why I have Malcolm here and why I don't have a real child, a living, breathing baby. So, first and foremost, one of the biggest reasons that I don't have my own baby is that I'm not married, which I know that's not a necessity, obviously. But I'm not married, and I'm not with a man. I'm not with somebody who could get me pregnant. I'm not with anyone who wants to have children in that sense. I'm not with anybody right now, actually. Um, so there's that. Anybody that I had been with in the past, either one, didn't want children, and two, we did not have the parts to create children together. Nor did we want to adopt. And it wasn't in our plans at the time. Most of my relationships have ended before a year, so there's that too. So it's like, I'm not gonna have a kid with somebody before I've been with them for like only a year. Um, so no. But anyways, so there's that. Second, and this is the part that I really wanted to, you know, talk about, is I have many conditions that make it difficult for me to have my own children. Um, the biggest three that really focus on like fertility itself, I have endometriosis, stage 4 endometriosis. I have PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And then I also have premature ovarian failure. So essentially, it's similar to menopause, but it's like where the ovaries start to fail sooner than they should for menopause. It's not menopause, but it's similar. But anyways, um, so I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was, I think, 20. Yeah, 20. So to do that, they had to go in surgically because surgery is the only way that you can get diagnosed with endometriosis officially. They went in and they saw that there was endometriosis everywhere and they burned it out, and yeah, they saw that it was starting to grow in other spots and they burnt those spots, and yeah. But it's back, and it's back with a vengeance. It has been for a while now, and my doctor won't do anything about it. But that is one thing that really can affect fertility in people with uteruses and women and trans men who want to get pregnant. Um, and it's very painful, and it's very, it's debilitating. Every single day is very difficult for me because I hurt so bad. Even like it does not have to be your time of the month for endometriosis to hurt. It really doesn't, because it's constantly growing within you. Um, and essentially, endometriosis grows like a cancer. It is technically considered, it's not considered a cancer, but it grows exactly like a cancer. It spreads within, makes its own cells. It makes, I don't know, well, I don't know if it makes its own cells necessarily, but it makes its own hormones, which is similar to cancer in that sense. But it's very similar to cancer in the sense of how it spreads throughout the body. And the thing is, endometriosis does not necessarily stay in the reproductive section of your body. Endometriosis has been found on people's brains before. And luckily, I mean, nobody dies from endometriosis, which is another thing that's different from cancer. Like, it doesn't kill you, but you can die from the complications of endometriosis. Like, if it gets on your brain and you start bleeding, because endometriosis causes internal bleeding, you can have seizures or stroke and you can die. So there's that. But it's very, very rare that it gets all the way up there without stopping, you know. But it is possible. And also, I do want to say, endometriosis has been known to be found in cisgender men. So so just be aware of that. um, but anyways, enough talk about endometriosis. Let's move on to PCOS. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is technically an intersex condition because it causes the average female to create too much androgen in the body. And androgen is a male hormone. It's essentially kind of like testosterone, but it's like a little bit different. Which you can probably tell my voice is deep. My voice is pretty masculine. My jawline is kind of masculine. I look like a guy pretty much. Um, I'm intersex. Um, and it's because of the PCOS, and I think something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't really know much about my conditions in that sense because it was kind of hidden from me. But anyways, um, anywho, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So you, th- there's many different symptoms to PCOS, and not all of them are cysts. So I had one cyst, and it was enough to count it as polycystic ovarian syndrome because I had the other symptoms. You have to have at least 3 or 4 to be considered PCOS. But if you only have like 1 or 2 symptoms, it's like, no, this is just something else. But to have PCOS, I believe it's either cysts or the higher testosterone androgen, um, hair growth, like on your face and stuff, which I do have kind of a mustache. Um, um, let's see, what else is it? I can't really quite remember all of the fertility issues is another one. Issues with, yeah. And then like heavy periods and irregular periods, that's another one. Which again, I have all of those. Which I forgot to mention, in endometriosis, it can cause really weird periods too. Um, which I am so sorry if you're a cisgender man watching this video right now and you're probably thinking, why am I watching this? But if you want to be informed about these things for like maybe a girlfriend or your sister or your mom or something, be informed. This stuff is good to know about. You never know when somebody is struggling. Might even be for your wife or something. I don't know. You never know. But yeah, I've had periods at times that lasted 3 months because of all this stuff. So yeah, but that was mostly my endometriosis that caused that. But yeah, okay, so on to premature ovarian failure. That one, my ovaries shrank because of a medication that I was on. I was on a medication. It wasn't a birth control. It was like an estrogen replacement, kind of. Like it took out all the estrogen in my body because we were trying to stop the endometriosis from growing, even though endometriosis makes its own estrogen. Like I was saying before, it makes its own hormones. Um, but it took out all the estrogen in my body and it shrunk my ovaries. Ovaries are only about yay big to begin with. They were about yay big, and they still are. They're very small. They barely have any follicles in them. I mean, they barely work, but they do. But I mean, they're just in there, hanging out. But yeah, they're not really doing their job. Um, so yeah, it's really to a point where I don't know if I can have kids. My OB doesn't know if I can have kids, and we'll never really know unless I get with somebody who wants to have kids and we try and we find out I can't. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because I'm not really into people who have those parts, you know? I'm more of a girl type of person, if you know what I mean. Um, I am very much gay. Um, but the thing is that I'm very content with just having a doll as a child and just hanging out with my baby like this and not really worrying about taking care of a literal child because I don't think I could, you know. There are other reasons why I don't think I could or even should, which I'll get into in other videos because this video is going to be way too long if I get into all of the reasons. Um, I'll give you a hint. Mental health. Um, I'll talk about my mental health in another video. But yeah, it's just there's so much that influences my reasons for not wanting a baby, and it's like I'll just keep Malcolm and I'll be happy with him, and yeah, and I just really don't think I should have kids, and I probably can't. And it's like people are always like, well, just have your own kid. It's like, it's not that simple. And like, why would you recommend that to somebody who like might not even have like all the money or, resources or something? Like you shouldn't just tell people, well, just have a kid. It's like, it's not that easy, babes. um, but yeah, so that's the basic whys of why I can't have actual kids and why I have Malcolm. Um, I guess, do I want real kids? No. No, I don't. I'm very content with Malcolm, and I think that it'll be fine if I have Malcolm forever and I don't have a real kid. I don't want any. I've seen my sister and her 4 kids, and I'm like, you can have all 4 of them, and I'll just stay over here with my doll. And yeah, it's really not something for me. And also, I like the ability to take it easy some days. Like if Malcolm was a real baby, it would be so much more difficult, you know? Like, I would have to actually, like, change his outfit every day. I would have to get diapers. I would have to feed him. I would have to, really look after him, obviously. And with him being a doll, I can kind of be a little bit more leisurely about it, which is a lot better for me as a person who can barely take care of himself, you know? Um, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta be okay with what you have and be glad that you are infertile. Because, kind of, I am glad because I don't want kids. I'm just happy with Malcolm. Um, but I do love having Malcolm. I really do. It's nice to have the experience of having a kid without having a kid, you know? But anyways, that is going to do it for this vlog. I've been rambling for 17 minutes now, so we're gonna hop off of here. I need to edit. It's 9:30. I gotta get a drink of water. I'm so thirsty. Um, so I'm going to grab a drink and then we're going to edit. I'm gonna watch a movie or something while I edit and we're gonna hang out. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this little explanation video, um, please like, comment, share, maybe subscribe, become a member of the Batley family, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.